doing my PhD, I wanted to gather information from people who lived in Thailand, and I didn't have the means to travel to Thailand myself. So I found these people on the internet. Now this is something we do every day, don't we? We connect with our friends and our family, etc. on the internet, on social media, or through blogs or websites or whatever. But it's not something that we see a lot in formal academic research. But this is really starting to change. So I did go ahead and use this type of research in my PhD, and now I'm seeing more and more people starting to do the same, and this is called Netnography. Now, the title might sound a bit complicated, but actually the concept is pretty simple, and in today's video I'm going to tell you what Netnography is, how you can use it in your research, and what are the good and the bad things about using Netnography. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Drhayleystainton. I have taught research methods and dissertations for many years. I've marked many dissertations and research projects, and I've made a whole series of videos all about how to write a great research project. So if you're new here, do subscribe, and I'm sure you will get a lot of value out of those videos. Okay, so let's get to it. What is this Netnography? To put it simply, Netnography is a form of ethnography whereby the data is located on the internet. We live our lives, or very much of our lives, online these days. I have more friends online than I do in my physical life. I discuss work opportunities almost entirely online these days. And since COVID and the resounding growth of the shut-in economy, I interact with my family online, teach my students online, attend conferences online. It's all happening online. So surely it makes sense that we use the internet to undertake our research too. Of course, this isn't entirely new. We have used the internet for many aspects of our research for a long time now. Data analysis techniques and literature reviews are often undertaken using internet programs and software, but collecting our data online has not traditionally been so common. But as I say, things are changing, and that's why you're here watching this video, right? If you're thinking about doing Netnography, give me a like on this video. I would love to know how many of you are out there, and I'm not on my own. To be honest, I don't understand why Netnography isn't more common. To me, it seems absolutely logical that we use valuable data that is there on the internet. It's usually free and it's readily accessible. I analysed blogs for my PhD research, and it was so much easier than interviewing people or sending out surveys. Okay, so Netnography isn't perfect, but what research method is? What I'm trying to say is that there is a wealth of valuable data online that is just waiting to be exploited. Netnography was actually coined by somebody called Robert Cosinet back in the 1990s, when the internet was far inferior to what it is now. But it wasn't until we reached the noughties that it really started to gain any gravitas at all. According to Cosinet, he first defined in 2002 Netnography as a new research method that adapts ethnographic research techniques to study the cultures and communities that are emerging through computer-mediated communications. Since his preliminary writings, Cosinet has moved towards a more detailed and justificatory approach. Most recently, he redefined Netnography as a specific set of related data collection, analysis, ethical and representational research practices, where a significant amount of data collected and participant observational research conducted originates in and manifests through the data shared freely on the internet, including mobile applications. So to put that into sort of layman's terms, it's all about collecting our data via the internet. But in order to really understand exactly what Netnography is, we first must understand the concept of ethnography. Ethnography is a form of anthropological research. In other words, it's research about people. Ethnographers study people's everyday lives and cultures. Ethnography allows us to study beliefs, values, behaviours, things like that. It's a form of qualitative research, and it helps us to understand things. Ethnographic research can be undertaken in different ways, and it is commonly seen in interviews, participant observation, and surveys. So netnography is essentially an extension of ethnography. It's the studying of people and cultures, etc., but it's done via the internet. One of the major limitations of traditional ethnography is that it is subject to geographical boundaries, i.e., we can't adequately observe someone who is on the other side of the world. More modern-day technologies, however, have provided ethnographic researchers with an entirely new research realm. When examining people online, geography is no longer a problem. This opens the researcher up to many exciting opportunities. Research that is undertaken online essentially extends the traditional notions of ethnographic study. It moves ethnography from observation of co-located face-to-face interactions to technologically mediated interactions in online networks and communities. Okay, so we understand that netnography is all about looking at people and behaviours and cultures and that sort of thing, and we know that we do that online, but exactly how? Well, there are many ways that netnography can be conducted, and this is likely to increase as we use the internet more and more in our day-to-day lives. Some examples of research methods that use netnography are blog analysis, tweet analysis, Facebook analysis, Pinterest analysis, Snapchat analysis, TikTok analysis, WeChat analysis, Instagram analysis, YouTube analysis, examination of behaviour in online forums such as TripAdvisor, analysis of online teaching and student responses, analysis of online conferences or webinars, things like that, and the analysis of group interactions using video call software, such as a choir singing via Zoom or a counselling session conducted via Microsoft Teams. And the great thing is that netnography doesn't have to be 100% online. Netnography can be pure if the research is conducted all online, or it can be blended with traditional ethnographic research by combining face-to-face interaction with that online analysis. So, why should we use netnography? Why is it so good? Why am I singing its praise? There are lots of advantages actually. These include the fact that there is a high scope of potential for valuable data to be collected. It can help to overcome those geographical limitations that I mentioned earlier. The data is naturally occurring. We're going to tweet, we're going to talk on the forum, we're not doing it for research purposes. There is the opportunity to discover unexpected findings, and data may be available online that wouldn't be unearthed in a face-to-face context. Some people say things online they wouldn't say in person. And it is contemporary, modern, and up-to-date. According to Cosinet, netnography faithfully exports anthropology's set of ontological, epistemological, and axiological commitments to the study of social experiences within an internet context. In other words, you get all the benefits of using qualitative ethnographic research, but in an online environment. However, as with any research method, netnography is not perfect. Here's why. Disadvantages of netnographic research include that it may not be entirely holistic. It may not be the whole truth. People might not publish everything that they think online. Researchers may not be familiar with online platforms, especially the older generation who haven't grown up with the social media platforms that we have today, etc. Data collection and analysis might be time-consuming, as it generally is with a lot of qualitative research. And there can also be questions about informed consent. Is it okay that we analyse someone's tweets or someone's Facebook statuses for the purpose of research without them knowing? This is a bit of a grey area. But whilst there are good things, there are bad things. There is no disputing that netnography is becoming really popular. And with the young people of today who have grown up with Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, etc., they are more likely to want to embrace these forms of research methods because they're so familiar with it and they're comfortable with it. If you're interested in doing netnography, let me know in the comments. Let me know what type of study you're going to do and why, because I'm really interested to learn about how people are using this innovative and quite exciting research method. And if you are using netnography, you are going to have to write all of this up in your research methods chapter, and I have you covered with this video here.